What's up, I'm Ryan Nyquist, and you're watching My First Hand on Field TV. My name is Ryan Nyquist, and I'm a professional BMX rider. I started riding bikes in 1991 and turned pro in 1996 when I was about 16 years old. I was born and raised in San Jose, California, up until 1999, where I moved to Greenville, North Carolina. I lived there for about 10 years until just recently moving back to San Jose, California, where I currently reside. The disciplines I ride is pretty much BMX dirt and BMX park. In Greenville, North Carolina, I had a warehouse called The Unit, which is basically a park that I helped design and helped build, and it was, I feel, one of the most amazing parks in the world, and I had that at my disposal at any time I want. And so now living in Northern California, it's a lot different. My life for the past year has been like pretty much turned upside down. You know, like so many changes, like just so many things, and then still trying to just be a professional athlete and going from having like one of the best facilities I feel in the world to train to utilizing public parks and trying to find really good spots to ride in California. It's been a crazy time just getting acclimated and trying to get back into a regular routine. My life off the bike is great. I have an awesome wife, you know, who's super supportive of everything I do, and we just recently had a son about 10 months ago, and that's been such an amazing experience. I mean, it's just having this little human being that is a part of both of us and seeing him kind of make these leaps and bounds. It's just like every day there's something new, and that has been like such a mind-blowing experience for me. Basically, my summer kicked it off with kind of working on the Warriors of Wood. Today we are at the Warriors of Wood in San Jose, California. It's pretty scary for me because I'm involved in it. Not just riding, but involved. It was the first time I'd been involved in the, I guess you can call it the other side of, the sport where you're organizing the event and trying to get everything together and people to the event. And I've always just been on the side where I just show up and ride and then go home. It seems like the easier side, I don't know if that hurt me or helped me trying to do both, It definitely took up a lot of time, and I hadn't really been on the bike much at all, so to kind of jump into an event like that where the jumps were really crazy and really big and scary, it was like I was really nervous during practice because there's so many guys that were crashing, getting hurt. I mean, it was really just a feat to make it through the course. As nerve-wracking and as nervous I was just being involved with the event and wanting to see it go perfectly and smoothly and flawlessly, I had butterflies. I couldn't sleep the night before finals, and then finals happened. It was like just ridiculous. Everybody pulled out all the stops. think it went pretty well. I was more interested in the whole, like, kind of like the learning experience of like what goes on the other side, because maybe somewhere down the line that's something I'd like to pursue, you know, just doing events and organizing it. And yeah, I learned a ton, like tons and tons of information that stuff I never even thought about that you need to kind of get done for an event. So for me, it's like, you know, yeah, I didn't place that well, but what I learned from doing that whole thing was just, you know, way better than, you know, winning first place at the contest.
One more statement. Ryan Nyquist. Ryan, can I get a commitment for next year for the kids here in San Jose?
Yeah, I guess so. This exceeded all my expectations. All I can say is, wow, and that doesn't stand for Warriors of Wood. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you guys next year, right?
So the next event I went to was the Worlds in Cologne, Germany. It was one that I'd been to many years before. Always a good time. Every year it seems to grow bigger and better, and this is like their 20th year or something like that, so it was just kind of a big deal, you know, like a big celebration, and it was a great event. Minus the weather. The weather was horrible. It rained like pretty much the whole time. Most of the time we spent just kind of sitting around talking and underneath the tent or inside a building, or just sometimes even just in the rain, waiting for the rain to stop. I think when you travel all the way to some place like Germany or anywhere in Europe or anywhere in the world really outside the US, you get to see a lot of people that you don't normally get to see. You know, it's definitely easier for us to go over there than it's for those guys to come over here. You know, so for us to go over there, you see so many like fans or riders or ex-riders or riders coming up that are pumped to see a lot of the US pros. You know, a lot of the guys that they see in the magazines or in videos or whatever that they don't get to see every day. For those guys, I might go over there to Germany this year and then not go for 5 more years. So when you think of it like that, it's like a pretty rare opportunity to come up and say hey, or like to reconnect with people that I hadn't seen in years. So, you know, you go over there knowing that it's going to be a really great time. You're going to see a lot of faces you hadn't seen in a while, and you know, you just really want to go there and pretty much put on a good show. Dirt at the Worlds was good. The course was big. We were underneath the freeway, so like you were really close to the bottom of it. So you start out there and then you basically roll in, and it was super downhill, so you automatically had like a ton of speed. And then you rolled in this berm, and then down a little roller, and then you had this monster first set. It was like probably about 30 foot. Sometimes that was the first thing you did during the day, is you roll in, going like 30 miles an hour, and then you hit this 30 footer, and you're like, okay, you know, for breakfast right there, like having a 30 footer for breakfast. It was fun. You know, I ended up getting second, which was way better than I thought I was going to do. You know, between the weather and waiting around all day and, you know, the jet lag too. It was just like, I wasn't sure how I was going to ride, but to end up a second, I was totally happy with that.
Another one of the rock star shredders, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Nyquist!
For the mini ramp comp, is basically I had this ramp called the Braun Cruiser ramp, and it's nearly 7 foot tall, big sub box, massive spine, and it's a really, really fun ramp to ride. It's really like more of just a treat for me to be able to ride it, because I like riding big ramps like that, and the 7 foot spine is pretty unusual. So to be able to go there in session, it was just like sweet. never fails when you get that kind of talent, you know, worldwide all together one spot. You know, you just get the best riding ever, and it's, you know, the atmosphere is there. It's just, you can't beat it. It's almost like it doesn't really matter how good you place, it's like how well you please the crowd. One of the great things about doing contests anywhere overseas is like, it always seems like the crowds are like just way better. Better in the sense that they're always cheering for everything. You know, it's definitely a different kind of contest, definitely a different kind of feel, and you kind of go there and just make the most of it, you know, just try to take it all in and enjoy yourself. Oh, you gonna fall out? This thing is packed. This is what happens when you travel and you have a baby. Thing gets loaded up quick. These are the dogs of the household. The brown one right here is Jackson. The white fat one is Shorty. And then this one is actually my brother's dog, and his name is Kick-Ass. So. Hey babe, don't worry about me, I got all the bags. Allie, don't worry, I got them. Yeah, no, I got all the bags. Don't worry about it. No, I don't need any help. I'm good. I don't need any help. My summers are like my go time, you know, it's just like, I'm traveling, I'm home, I'm traveling, I'm home, I'm traveling, you know, in a suitcase. It's just the whole time, it's just like busy. So I'll go on, you know, a trip for a contest or whatever. I'll be gone for about a week or more sometimes. And that pretty much leaves Allie, you know, my wife, to be, you know, at home with Tristan like full time, you know, like she doesn't get much relief. So when I get home, I try to give her as much relief as possible, or just be at home and hang out and do the things that need to get done, you know, like whether it be unpacking. That's like probably the first thing we do, is just try to unpack laundry, mowing the lawn, clipping the hedges, taking care of Tristan, you know, changing diapers, feeding him. It's almost like I kind of get home and have a bunch of chores to do. All right, so got pretty much all my chores done. Got the laundry put away, the bags unpacked, the hedges are trimmed, and the bike is together, as you can see. And now I'm gonna go ride with the neighborhood kids, and they're gonna show me their spots, because there's a couple good ones in there. So, you guys ready? Yeah. Let's do it. Show me around. I'm definitely a dad and a husband and all that stuff, but it's like we have these kids in the neighborhood, like awesome kids. Like our neighborhood in general is really great. So, you know, they'll come over and be like, hey, like, can you ride, you know? And I'll be like, you know, sometimes I'll be holding Tristan and be like, oh, you know, I can't ride right now. But then other times I'll have nothing to do, so I'll go out there and pedal with them. And, you know, it seems like they're really excited. You know, like they have this jump out there, and they have a bunch of spots in the neighborhood we go to and ride. It's real fun, but it's like, it is kind of like, am I just like this guy in the neighborhood that, you know, likes to ride bikes, or am I like this pro in the ride? I don't really know how they see it, but I think it's cool. I have a lot of fun. You know, we just kind of cruise around the neighborhood. Today's a good day. We're gonna be jumping together. So, sessions on. I'm 30 years old, and it's like I still get a kick out of it. It's like, wow, I remember those days. Like that was awesome. You know, like being on summer break and just zooming around from one thing to the next and just making the most of it. You know, and training. You know, it kind of breaks up the monotony if I can go out there and ride with them every once in a while. When I lived in North Carolina, I had every minute of every day to go riding, and you kind of take that for granted. You know, like you definitely, you just think of it as like, oh, this is the way it is. And then when something like having a kid comes about, you know, like I want to be there as much as I can, but I know that I have responsibilities on a bike as well. So the time that I do have to ride, I'm making the most of it now. You know, like I'm going out there, and if I only have 3 hours, like I'm gonna try to ride my hardest in those 3 hours and just try to get a good, you know, try to get a good ride in. One of the parks that I ride really frequently actually is Santa Cruz Park, which is in a great spot. It's right by the beach, right by the boardwalk. The park's brand new, it just opened up, and I had a pretty big hand in, getting that going as far as like, getting a lot of newer ramps. And I just said, hey, I'd love to donate some time and some wood and some money to get this going. I just really would like to have some like top of the line modernized ramps, like a good box jump, a good spine, some good quarter pipes, hips, stuff like that. So it was kind of like a win-win situation. Like the city got an updated park with updated ramps. The local riders got like a really great park now, and I got a place where I can ride and I can be comfortable out.
My name is Damian Scanella. I've been riding with Ryan since he started, and the fact that he's back here in California definitely impacted the scene. A lot of kids look up to him. He's old enough now where kids miss that he's actually still a competing champion. With this particular park here, would have not have come together had Ryan not been involved. With Ryan here, he was able to design something that keeps him competitive, and it definitely rubs off on people.
Ryan's tearing it up pretty good out here. With Ryan being back here, it's a huge impact on all the younger riders that are going to be coming up, because he's one of the best guys to talk to. He's willing to help anybody. He tries to teach me different things. He's trying to teach me bar spins and toothpicks and some of the new tricks. So him being here is just a great influence for all these younger riders that are going to be coming up, and we have a lot of riders out here in this area, so it's going to be great.
How's it, Michael? Does it work?
You ride pretty good out there. You gonna start riding again?
Yeah, where's your bike?
When you crash, you gotta just like shake it off and go for it again. You know that, right? All the pros do that. So now I really feel like I have a really great place to ride, and somewhere where I can kind of maintain my riding. So to have that now is like it's really, really nice. As far as competitions go this summer, I feel like it's been a pretty good year. It's had its ups and downs for sure. I haven't had a whole lot of time on the bike to prepare for the contest, but I've still ridden all right and still had some good placings. I'm kind of just waiting for that whole contest season to be over and done with, and then I can just be home and enjoy the off season with my family. My mindset used to be I was just thinking about riding bikes all the time. Where was I going to ride the next day or the next month, or what park or what city was I going to travel to? And nowadays I think about being home and being with my wife and son, and seeing my son take his first steps or saying his first words or turning 1 year old. It's definitely a difference, but I think it's part of just getting older. It's responsibility and stuff that I never had, and now I do, and I love it. What's up, I'm Ryan Nyquist, and you're watching My First Hand on Field TV. Aww, unplugged.
Pull it, pull it.
That's funny. He goes, bro, you okay? Can I get my photo taken with you? He just called him Dave from Mira.